On field, on screen, when cricket meets Bollywood. Introduction. India as a nation is spellbound by two things, cricket and Bollywood. While Indians are divided on the grounds of caste, class, religion, region, and language, these two unite them across time and place. Indian culture finds its most spectacular expression in Bollywood films, and Indian nationalism is overtly exhibited when Indian cricket team plays an international match. Interestingly, both cricket and films are the inventions of the West and came to India during the British period. Yet, they are appropriated to such an extent by the Indians that one cannot imagine India without them. When cricket meets Bollywood, on field, on screen, some wonderful films are created which reflect the various aspects of Indian cricket amazingly. Cricket and colonization in British India. The first film that comes to mind when one thinks about cricket is Lagan. Set in a small Indian village during the British period, it is a fictional tale of successful anti-colonial struggle through the medium of cricket. Unlike the earlier foreign reigns of India, the modern British colonization of India was pioneered by rationalists, modernists, and liberals who argued that imperialism was really the messenger harbinger of civilization to the uncivilized world. The white British male colonists, while plundering the natives and territories of India, fully convinced themselves that they stood on high ethical grounds and it was their moral duty to educate and rehabilitate the savages who were unable to manage and run themselves properly and thus needed the wisdom and expertise of the colonizer. In other words, English looked at the colonization of India as a civilizing mission. They sought to preach and propagate superior English values among the inferior Indian subjects through every possible means, from language to literature, from religion to culture, and from science to sports. Their aim, in the words of Lord Macaulay, was to produce a class of persons, Indian in blood and color, but English in taste, in opinions, in morals, and intellect. By the late Victorian era, cricket, the gentleman's game, that inculcated positive virtues, loyalty, self-sacrifice, usefulness, cooperation, and esprit de corps and a sense of honor became instrumental in the creation and promotion of hegemonic masculine British identity. Rational, intelligent, civilized, powerful, hardworking, dynamic, virtuous, mature, authoritative, superior, and fair, both in color and moral. As an essential national emblem, cricket stood for English moral discipline, and as a colonial tool, eventually cricket became the symbol par excellence of imperial solidarity and superiority, epitomizing a set of consolidatory moral imperatives that both exemplified and explained imperial ambition and achievement. By introducing cricket among Indians, British hoped to convert them willingly to Englishness and thereby irrevocably insert British meme into the very genetic code of Indian culture. Ramchandra Guha writes, in time he, the Indian native, asked to play matches against the rulers. It made sense now to see his eagerness as confirmation of the imperial mission, a pleasing sign of the brown man's readiness to absorb British values. The rulers convinced themselves that they had actively preached the gospel, that they had taught Indians to play cricket. The British converted the Indian to cricket to thus bind them more firmly, more happily to their rule. Lagan. However, what Indians did with cricket was to use it as a tool of cultural resistance through appropriation. The team building process of cricket is metaphorically the nation building process of India. It is an English game taught to Indians by an English lady which provides Indians an opportunity to resist British colonization. Like Caliban in Shakespeare's The Tempest, they subverted the context in which the British defined values and appropriated those values to serve their own purpose. In The Tempest, colonizer Prospero teaches the native Caliban his language so that he can command his slave to perform his course. But Caliban claims, "You taught me language, and my profit on it I know how to curse. The Red Plague rid you for learning me your language." Similarly, Indians Indianized and transformed cricket to such an extent that Ashish Nandi asserts that cricket is an Indian game accidentally discovered by the British. Cricket and nationalism in post-independence India. Indeed, the modern cricket world can be considered as an instant of decolonization in the field of sports, whereby 1980s onwards, India rapidly emerged as the world leader in cricket. Representing the game's political and financial epicenter, India not only conquered the Test cricket and excelled in the one-day cricket, but also created its own new form of cricket called IPL, Indian Premier League T20. Moreover, in post-independence era, cricket became the chief vehicle of expressing Indian nationalism. Nationalism can be defined as a sense of oneness among the members of a community. However, a nation is not a given entity. It comes into being through the nationalist discourse. Historically, the concept of nation emerged in the post-Enlightenment Europe to manage the fears and problems resulting from progress of science, valorization of rationality, and the breakdown of preceding cultural systems of religious community and dynastic realm. According to Benedict Anderson, it was the result of joint forces of capitalism, print technology, and linguistic diversity. Anderson called nation an imagined community which is different from an actual community because it is not and cannot be based on face-to-face interaction between its members. Instead, members hold in their minds a mental image of their affinity. As Anderson puts it, a nation is imagined because the members of even the smallest nation will never know most of their fellow members, meet them, or even hear of them. Yet, in the minds of the each lives the image of their communion. Similarly, a nation is a community because regardless of the actual inequality and exploitation that may prevail in each, the nation is always conceived as a deep horizontal comradeship. The media plays a major role in creation of nation as an imagined community through targeting a mass audience on one hand and by inventing real or fantastic symbols of nationalism on the other. In post-independence era, Indian media has highlighted cricket in two major contexts, India versus England and India versus Pakistan. The first has focused on the process of overthrowing the colonial yoke of former masters, while the second has asserted national pride against the cross-border enemy, metaphorically converting Ranbhumi into Ranabhumi, justifying George Orwell's metaphor of international sport as mimic warfare. In both the contexts, people across the caste, class, religion, region, language, and gender come together, sideline their internal strife, and unite in fighting against a common enemy. Neglecting the daily individual struggle for survival, winning a game is made an issue of national prestige. Indeed, as Ramchandra Guha states, in battling for India, sports has become a vehicle for unfulfilled aspirations of everyday life. And it is the cricketers and they alone who are asked to redeem these failures to make one forget, at least temporarily, the harsh realities of endemic poverty and corrupt and brutal politicians. Consequently, while the victory on the cricket ground fuels the sense of confidence and self-assurance among the people, defeat disheartens them beyond limit. The high-spirited emotional state of the audience in turn energizes the players to display the do-or-die attitude to win a match. The miraculous victory of India in 1983 Cricket World Cup at Lord's Cricket Ground in London was a masterstroke in boosting the self-esteem of all the Indians. Finally, India had conquered the capital of former British Empire and symbolically avenged its humiliation caused by colonization. Henceforth, as the world champions, Indians can self-righteously flaunt their national identity. Interestingly, it does not ask for any strenuous efforts and sacrifices on the part of audiences. Sporting nationalism. All they need to do is to identify with their cricket icons as the national heroes and then surrender themselves to hero worship. Thus, in the process of asserting its national identity through cricket, so far India has produced a number of cricket legends ranging from C.K. Naidu to Virat Kohli. Their lives, struggles and victories are projected by the mainstream national media not as the achievements of any single individual, but rather as the aspirations and triumphs of the entire nation. When the fascinating versions of the lives of cricket superstars are reproduced on the silver screen, they have further advanced the cause of sporting nationalism. For instance, the biopics of Mohammad Azharuddin, Azhar, Master Blaster Sachin Tendulkar, Sachin A Billion Dreams, and MS Dhoni, The Untold Story, chart the life journeys of their heroes through various ups and downs to their final victory. Chronotope of Biography. Like the real-life heroes, fictional heroes of cricket films too motivate people to dream big, work hard and achieve their goals. Iqbal tells the story of a deaf and dumb village boy from Andhra Pradesh who not only overcomes his physical disability but also realizes his dream of playing international cricket for India. Such real or fictional biopics forge a unique link between personal achievement and national accomplishment by utilizing the chronotope of biography, in which adventurous heroic biographical value is grounded in the will or drive to be a hero, to have significance in the world of others, in the will to be loved, and finally in the will to live life's fabular possibilities. Cricket fantasy and reality. The fabular possibilities of cricket, cricketers and cricket fans in India can never be underestimated. Chain Kuli Ki Main Kuli and Ferrari Ki Sawari are two fantasy films which revolve around fan worship of great cricketers. Kapil Dev's bat and Sachin's Ferrari car seem to have magical elements which help their fans to acquire their owners' extraordinary skills. Unless and until the audience enjoy such magic and fantasy narratives with willing suspension of disbelief for a short while and then return to everyday pragmatic world, there is no problem. But if one starts believing that the quick success can be achieved without hard work and dedication like waging a magic wand, one takes shortcuts to success through corruption and crime. This flip side of cricket obsession, combined with the passion for quick money, is depicted in Jannat, which deals with the evil of match fixing. Coming back to the triangular relationship among Indian nationalism, cricket and Bollywood, it is interesting to note how ethnic communal identities are constantly negotiated in the larger discourse of nationalism. Especially the discourse of Hindu nationalism takes for granted the innate patriotism of high caste Hindus and equally intrinsic treachery of Muslims towards India. As a result, communal identity of cricketers and film stars are invoked time and again while discussing both cricket and Bollywood in the context of Indian nationalism. Communal tension is not uncommon when India and Pakistan face each other on the cricket ground. Equally challenging is the portrayal of Hindu-Muslim relations in the Bollywood films. Consequently, when cricket, Bollywood and nationalism come together in a single film, recesses of the national culture are brought to the foreground, where the locality of national culture is informed by a process of hybridity. Set in Ahmedabad amidst Gujarat communal riots, Kaipoche narrates the struggle of three friends, Govind, Onkar and Ishan, to start their own cricket coaching academy. As its narrative unfolds, the disruptive forces of religious orthodoxy and constructive forces of friendship and sports spirit are juxtaposed with each other. Kaipoche demonstrates how hegemonic and monologic view of nationalism is as harmful as colonization. All the players, film protagonists and audiences discussed so far are exclusively male. Women are either absent or occupy utterly insignificant place in these narratives of cricket. Its reason lies in the historical role of cricket as a gentleman's game employed in the service of the masculine enterprise of colonization, and in turn its refashioning as a tool of decolonization by competing masculine discourse of nationalism. According to Anne McClintock, all nationalisms are gendered. Similarly, commenting upon the interrelationship among gender, sports and nationalism, Courtney Glass says, nationalism is part of the public sphere, where women have historically been neglected to the private sphere. Sports has traditionally been a masculine domain where conceptions of hegemonic masculinity as well as the nation are developed and reinforced. Women are normally excluded from sports due to the concerns regarding pregnancy and childcare. However, their exclusion marks the institutionalization of hegemonic masculinity in sports, reinforcing the idea that men are strong, competitive, and aggressive, while women are more passive, cooperative, and weak. This gender stereotyping leads to the creation of a paradox for sportswomen. Women can't be sports stars as they are not masculine, and if they are sports stars, they can't be truly feminine. The role of women in the construction of Indian nationalism is discussed in detail by Partha Chatterjee. His line of argument goes that to deal with the uncontrollable influence of Western civilization over Indian culture, Indian nationalists divided the domain of culture into two separate spheres, the material and the spiritual. Though it was impossible to challenge material superiority of the West and its consequent domination of India in that area, texts like Hind Swaraj emphatically proclaim that no other cultural rival could possibly match the spiritual superiority of India. So it became essential to fiercely protect and preserve spiritual properties of Indian national culture in the private sphere of home, while necessarily incorporating material achievements of Western science and technology in the public sphere of larger world. For this purpose, the home and its keeper, women, must stick to the age-old customs and traditions, while men imitate Western ways of thought and behavior. In the words of Chatterjee, the home in its essence must remain unaffected by the profane activities of the material world, and woman is its representative. Herein lies the reason behind the paradox of immense popularity of men's cricket and underdevelopment of women's cricket in India. For many years, it was considered immodest for Indian women to aspire to play a masculine sport like cricket. But gradually, the attitude of women towards cricket started changing, and so did their representation in relation to cricket. In Dil Bole Hadippa, Veera, a girl achieves her goal of playing for India by disguising herself as a boy. At the end of the match, when her true identity is revealed and she is accused of cheating, in her emotional speech, she interrogates the male dominance in every sphere of life, including sports, and thereby advocates gender equality. Cricket and diasporic experience in post-colonial Britain. Diaspora can be defined as ethnic minority groups of migrant origins residing and acting in host countries but maintaining strong sentimental and material links with their countries of origin, their homelands. Indians have migrated to other countries for several reasons, such as higher education, better economic opportunities, or political upheaval. Whatever may be the reason, more often than never, they are victims of racial prejudice, both overt and covert, in the host country. As a result, the first generation diaspora is normally haunted by displacement and nostalgia, living on the memories of the homeland without realizing that the past is a country from which we have all immigrated, that its loss is part of our common heritage. Second generation, on the other hand, suffers from rootlessness as they are born and have lived all their life in the host country, having no intention of going back home. Thus, under the glitter of prestigious NRI nomenclature, they actually suffer from homelessness and identity crisis. In turn, they seek their self-identity in the host country not on the basis of their ethnic origin, but on the basis of their inherent talent. Patiala House explores the diasporic experience through the medium of cricket. Like Monty Panesar in reality, Gattu in the film has managed to negotiate his insider status through his ability to move fluidly between his Englishness and his Asianness, and as such has overcome the rootlessness by having roots in both the countries, forming a link between homeland, India, and hostland, England, as a cultural ambassador. Conclusion. Thus, Bollywood films based on cricket successfully explore the various aspects of Indian cricket, such as cricket as a tool of colonization and as a means of decolonization, the chief vehicle of expressing Indian nationalism by forging a link between personal achievement and national accomplishment, inspirational sport, evil of match fixing, triangular relationship among Indian nationalism, cricket and Bollywood through the communal, gender and diasporic perspectives in post-colonial era.